So this is the first mounting option I'm going to try. I've got an Evotech Performance headstock mount, which is to an amp base plate, which is the one with the 4 holes in it, shaped in a rectangular pattern. I think Garmin use this type of mounting. So onto that, I've got this RAM mount ball and a short clamp here. So I'm going to try putting the CarPlay device on there first. I suspect it's going to be too high and it's going to block out the clock here, the dash, but we'll see in a minute. So as suspected, this is completely obscuring the view of the motorcycle dashboard, and I've tried it in various positions while sitting in the seat. So I think I'll need to try something else. So the next option I'm going to try is removing this bracket, and I've bought a RAM mount lever ball adapter that will sit up here. So I've got that ball mounted on there now. You can see it just bolts onto the lever bracket. There's some spacers just here, and that's the bracket. So go ahead now and get the CarPlay unit over and see what it looks like up there in the handlebars. So I've mounted it up there now, and I don't know, it does seem to sit quite high. I've got the bike sitting up on a paddock stand, so I can't turn the handlebars just at the minute. It's the middle of winter, so I've got the bike sitting up on a couple of paddock stands. But you can see how I've mounted it there. I actually changed the original back plate on the back of the CarPlay unit, the Midland CarPlay unit, and bought one of their adapters, which is that ball that you can see there. But okay, this is the third option I'm going with. You've got the original bracket that came with the unit. There's a spacer in there, and this plate here is a quad lock amp space plate, and then this part here is the actual bit that comes with Evotech Performance bracket to mount on the handlebar headstock mount. I have to say, I think I'm preferring this option here. Back in the centre, it's a lot lower than the bike dash, and you're sitting up there in the seat, you're going to be able to see everything no problem. So I think that's the mounting option I'm going to go with. So I do have one other mounting option that I would like to try. I'd looked at these before. I actually had one in my last bike, but I didn't really like the look of this one. There seems to be an awful lot of metal in it. It obviously sits just behind the screen. So we'll start by removing the 4 bolts that hold the windscreen on. So there you go. These are the little rub mounts I was talking about. Okay, so they've actually got a rib on them which was stopping me pulling that out there. You can see if you look at the bike, the hole there. I'm going to try and mount that bracket onto those. So what I'm trying to do, I don't know if it's too clear, is get these little rubber mounts up through these holes. I nearly had it. So finally, after a bit of messing about, I managed to get this on. I actually took these out and fitted them in the bracket, and then pushed the little rubber top hats, little rubber nuts back into the holes on the bike. I found that easier. So we'll set the screen on. We'll see how this goes now. That seems to have worked quite well. Feels quite sturdy and all, as if it's screwed up properly. So we'll get the CarPlay device onto the bracket now and we'll see what it looks like. I'm not sure about that installed up there. I mean, from a rider's perspective, it's probably the best place because it's right in your field of vision. But if you look behind here, all the wiring goes under the bracket and sits above the dash. Now in my Ducati, I took the front of the bike apart, drilled a hole, put a grommet in it and fed the wires behind the clock and brought them out down here at the front yoke, and then just met up with the original wiring loom and followed it back to the battery. But I don't know if I've got the stomach for doing all that again. It seems like quite a big strip down job. I've already had the fairing off this bike once and it's quite an operation. So I don't know. There's one last mounting option I'm going to try to see if this is any tidier on the handlebar clutch bracket than the ram ball mount that I'd previously mounted. So when that was on, I think the CarPlay unit, the Midland CarPlay unit, is stuck quite high up. So I'm hoping that this little bracket here is going to sort the job out and bring it a bit lower, but we'll go ahead and fit it and see what it looks like. This is it, I've finally arrived at the right solution. Perfect for me anyway, just at the right height. It's not sticking up too high on the bars. Nice neat little bracket there, that SP Connect bracket. Just bolts straight onto the clutch lever bracket, similar to the Ramball one, but it's much smaller, much tidier, more compact. Yeah, really happy with that. I've tidied up the wiring, run it down under the bars. I'll just finish cable tying it up here. and then I'll be ready to take the fairing off and run the power cable back to the battery. That'll be the next job. There we go, folks. I've finally found a solution that works for me. I've probably spent a small fortune on all those brackets, but good things come to those who wait. So if you want any information in any of the brackets that I used, drop me a message and I'll get back to you. Thanks for watching.